Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, God. Okay, good afternoon. I have the lovely Lynda with me. I'll let Lynda introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself.
Oh, what do you want to know? Okay. Okay, so I'm Lynda Renham. I write thrillers for Bloodhound Books. Previously to that, I wrote romantic comedies. I think I wrote maybe 16 of those, which I have all at the side of me here. So I'll just sort of show you one, which is, do you see that okay?
Yeah.
That's Pink Wellies and Flat Caps. That one went to #1, actually. So I was really quite proud of that. Um, so I used to write for news agencies. That's what I originally did. So I wrote articles, things like that. I wrote a lot of articles for an American magazine, and they were basically about the Israeli Palestinian conflict. So, which is obviously very, at the moment,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be doing it. Um, that caused me to get trolled quite a lot on Twitter and Facebook, which wasn't very comfortable because I was pro-Palestinian, and I got sort of quite attacked. So I carried on writing for the magazine, but I stopped writing those particular articles where I would interview people because I'd previously spent a lot of time in Israel myself, so that was why I had the interest in writing the articles. So then I started writing novels again, which I'd done previously, going back several years. Then I was in a not very good marriage, and so I didn't write for 25 years. So that's quite a big gap. Then I remarried and started writing again. And that's how the romantic comedies started up. But then I sort of dried up because there's only so much humor that you can, that can come out of your head. And then you find that you're repeating yourself, and perhaps that was in a previous book. So then I had this idea for a thriller, which I'd wanted to write for ages. So I did, and that was Remember Me, which of course now has 7,800 reviews on Amazon, both in the UK and the US. And then I was headhunted by Bloodhound Books. So I accepted their offer, and I've been with them with my thrillers ever since. So that's a bit
Wow.
about me. I live in Oxfordshire, in the Cotswolds, in the countryside.
Lovely.
Um, yeah, it is in a small little village, in a small cottage, but no, it suits us. We have this summer house outside, in the garden. This is where I work. So that's a bit about me. Probably more than enough.
Oh, there's still plenty I can ask you. Don't worry.
Okay, far away.
Did you always want to write? Mm.
Yeah, my first piece was published when I was 7 in a Harold Hare magazine. You probably won't remember Harold Hare, but it was a comic that
Mm.
my mum used to buy me every week. And Harold Hare was a rabbit, and we got a rabbit, and I called it Harold. And I wrote a poem about my rabbit, and my dad sent it to the magazine, and the comic, published it. So and I used to write at school under the desk during lessons I didn't like, and until do you remember Peyton Place?
It
Probably,
rings a bell, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well,
Mm.
I wrote my own version of that, and I used to write it under the desk during lessons I hated, which generally was most lessons. Uh, and one day I was really into it, and then suddenly they were all just snatched out of my hand when the teacher discovered, and my mum was called up to the school and so on. So I've been writing really for as long as I can actually remember, even from early school days. Yeah, a lot of it was confiscated. I think I got it back in the end, But yeah, a lot of that went on. But yeah, for a long time.
And what made you sit down the very first time and say, that's it, now's the time, I'm going to write my first book?
I think it was my second husband that said, 'cause I had loads of manuscripts that I'd written over the years that had rejections, and some had almost been accepted and so on. And he said, you can't not do this. You know, it's ridiculous. You've got this imagination that you really should be using. So why don't you start writing again? So I did, really. And I sent a couple off that I wrote, and as usual, you know, got rejected. And then I thought, hang on a minute, Bridget Jones is Bridget Jones is really popular. Why don't I try to do like a feel good kind of romance, but in a book rather than a film? So that's when I wrote Croissants and Jam, which was my first comedy. They all had names like that, Croissants and Jam, Fudge Berries and Frog's Knickers and things like that, you know. And with those kind of sort of covers. And they did exceptionally well. And I thought, okay, that's what's wanted. So I enjoy writing it. So I'll write those. And then they all did really well. But it was him really that kind of got me started again. Yeah. Otherwise,
Oh,
yeah, I know. Otherwise, I probably would never have thought of doing it again, because it had been sort of 25 years. And, you know, unless someone else sort of gives you that push, you don't really. So yeah, I've got him to thank for that.
was he worried when you moved from romantic comedies to thrillers?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you know, he was. When I when I actually came up with the idea of Remember Me, which was after we've been to Friends for dinner, that's where the idea came from. He said, "Oh no, your readers won't like it. It's not what they'll be expecting. They'll be really worried about it, and you know, it won't be what they'll want, and you'll get bad reviews." And I said, "I don't care. I want to write it, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't matter." But it did. It did exceptionally well. It just went crazy in America and here. And then the same thing again with Bloodhound Books when they actually reissued it. It's done exceptionally well a second time around. So I'll show you it. There it is. It's yeah, it's actually a book that's done so well, not just once, but twice. I mean, that's just fairly unique, I think. I mean, I've just done so well out of it. And I really can't tell you what it is that makes it so gripping, but everyone that reads it says what it is that you never guess the end, and the end just blows you away. So I guess that's what it is. And I think there's a little bit of mind games that I play in it. So you think you know who it is all the time, and then you get this twist, and then you think it's something else, and then when you get to the end, you think, you know, that was it. So I think it's a bit like that, you know, that's why it's been so popular.
I mean, you know, as you probably realize, I'm everywhere on social media, and if I see a book a lot, then I know that it's good because
Yeah.
everyone's talking about it. And that was one of those. And it's been on my TBR for some time.
Oh, come
But
on, read it.
no, I've got like
So many, me too.
I've got a blog tour book that I'm supposed to post today, and I've only got an hour left of it to read, so it's not too bad. I'm not too worried. But I don't know how I've got myself in this situation.
I
And then
know, it's
I've written my
okay.
own book, and I need to write probably a
Yeah,
second one now. So thank
congratulations.
you.
Yeah, you must be thrilled.
I'm so happy I can't even. Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, it's a
So yeah,
big
I'm guessing
moment.
it was. Yeah, I got the email on New Year's Eve as well. What a day to get the email. You know,
Yeah.
it was about 8 o'clock on New Year's Eve. So I'm like, next year finally will be good. And then the 8th of January, it's like same old. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, but
anyway, yeah. So
no, just enjoy it.
I will. Yeah. I'm waiting for my cover. Actually, that's my next thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure I'm checking my email as much now as I was when I was waiting to hear from publishers.
I know. I'm waiting for the cover of my next one. So always a bit nervous about what that would look like or what it would be like, but we'll see. That's out in August. And that's, oh no, I mustn't give the title away.
Oh no.
I'll be in trouble.
Oh dear, yeah, don't do that.
I'll, I'll get into trouble. But it's out in August, the next, and that's a thriller. I think I'm
Awesome.
allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Um,
see.
was there any difficulty in moving from romantic comedy writing to thriller writing? Was it a
No, no, it was so easy. It was really so easy. The only thing I find um, going from a romantic comedy to a thriller, the only difficulty I found with a romantic comedy, you don't have to worry about plot twists or there might be a plot hole that you've missed or something like that, you know. With a thriller, obviously, everything's got to fit together, and you end up finding it's all like it seems great in your head, and when you start writing it down, you realize there's all these plot holes that you somehow got to plug, and each time you manage to plug a plot hole, there's another plot hole that pops up out of that one. So I think that's the only difficult part about it is making it all fit and not seem too far-fetched, because obviously, you know, it's quite hard to make it realistic, and that's quite hard if you don't want to have any kind of plot holes, which I think I've tried to avoid, but I've like the one I'm writing now, I've been going over a bit and thought, of course that won't work. How stupid, you know, you just realise, you know, this character's actually going to be at home, so that couldn't have happened, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, but you work around that, don't you? In the end, you somehow find a way, even if you have to swap the chapters around to make it fit, you know, you make it work. But
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing, isn't it? I think trying to, yeah, that's for me anyway. And the trouble is, I watch lots of TV series and I see those are plot holes, and I think, oh, they can get away with it. But then I think, no, trouble is, you'll end up with bad reviews. It's not worth it. So
Yeah, us
yeah,
readers are quite discerning and we're like, well, that can't
exactly.
happen here. I
Yeah,
know.
exactly. So you have to do all your research, and sometimes that takes quite a lot of time. So writing thrillers, I think, takes longer. Where with a romantic comedy, you can kind of fly through that fairly fast. And it's, you know, the love and the romance and all this kind of stuff, and the humor. I mean, that's quite easy. And there's no plots that you have to make sure they all fit together properly. So I think, yeah, probably thinking about it, thriller writing is a little bit harder. Yeah.
Um, how do you go about choosing character names?
I go on the internet. Unless I meet someone and, you know, no, 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 she doesn't want you on that. Come over here. Listen, over here. Not on the computer. Unfortunately, it's his favorite place. He thinks the keyboard is a bed, and I can't kind of convince him it isn't yet. Can you just sit there? Okay. I know you can see someone moving, but you just sit there. Okay. I've forgotten the question now.
Character names.
Oh yeah, I might meet someone who have a very unusual name, and I think, oh, I'll make a note of that. I tend to look at. Wait, don't you fight with me? I tend to look in cemeteries as well, because you get some really good names there, don't you? Especially the very old names; they can be really quite useful. Um, Again, like I say, on the internet. I know, but you can't go on there, okay? So I'm talking to this lady Donna. All right, and life's not all about you, right? um, or like I have a name is no Aidan Meads that I want to use for a book, which I've been keeping to one side for ages because I know what I want to write about him. And that just came out of my head, so I didn't find that from anywhere. But that's yeah, mostly it's looking online or someone's name. I might think, oh, that's interesting. I'll make a note of it and look back at that later, that kind of thing. But it's quite hard to get names that aren't the same
Yeah.
ones that are used by like Daisy or whatever it is, or you know, that everyone seems to use. It's you have to be very careful to try and get. I like to try and get unusual names if I can, but it's not always easy.
Yeah. Um, I have the name Jack Dash saved in my notes because it's such a cool name. Like, how can
Yeah,
I not save that name? And it
yeah,
sounds like a PI
yeah.
or something like that. So it's there, and I still remembered it actually, even though it's in my phone notes. And I think I've got a couple of others, but I'm like, that's such a cool name. I need to use this name
Yeah,
sometimes. So
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah. You hear these names and you just got to hang on to them. And then
yeah,
you sort of know when it's the right time to use them, don't you? Yeah, that's a
yeah,
cool one. That is a cool one.
yeah. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saving it for later.
yeah, yeah. That'd be a good
Um,
one.
have you used any names of people you know?
Yes. Well, kind of. Yeah, I wrote oh dear, um, three books called the Little Perrin series, which is written under the name of Amy Perfect. And a lot of the characters are based on people in my village, but I don't think they've actually realised yet. Um, Hopefully not. I also have used the names of some people in the village. I have asked them first because they have very interesting names. So I've used those. The the village where the lies she told is set is called Stones End. That's right. And I live not far from a village called Stones Field. So of course everyone misread it when I was advertising it. And the people who lived in Stones Field were emailing me and saying, "Is that about the real murder in Stonesfield?" So apparently there really was one going back about 12 years ago. And I have to say, no, no, it's nothing to do. I didn't even know about what is this murder. So of course I found out all about that. It was quite shocking. So yeah, I've used a few names and names of pubs, things like that I know of in the village. So yeah, I have used people's names, but I have asked permission. Otherwise, people can get upset if they don't really want their name in a book. So I usually say, "Do you mind?" And they're normally quite happy to have their name put in a book, aren't they? So
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say most people I know really want their names to be in
yeah,
books. So
yeah. They're really quite pleased. Yeah, yeah. So there's a good friend in the village, and I've used his name on the condition that he's the romantic hero. so, so I've kind of done that, I think enough to please him anyway. Let's say it that way.
yeah, my one of my oldest school friends that I've known since I was 13, I put her in my book, so she's dying to read it to find out whether I like her or not. I was like, well, doesn't really like work like that, but okay.
Everyone always asks me, "Am I the murderer?" And I say, "No, no. I would never make anyone I know the actual murderer or the victim come to that. No." It's
I've
funny, really.
actually my the murder in mine is based on someone real, but she was fine for me to make her, and she's quite honoured. So yeah, the murder
Yeah,
in mine is someone real. So yeah,
oh, that's quite good.
yeah, and the victim kind of is, but we won't talk about that.
That gives
We'll
too much away.
talk about that in May. It's fine. Yeah, I kind of don't need him to find out as well. His name isn't real, the same, but close.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I think the only thing what you have to be careful now, I don't think you used to be, is using well-known people's names because apparently now they're getting quite difficult with that.
yeah.
And song lyrics, I think apparently now
Oh
you
yeah,
get
you're not. Oh yeah, you can't do that. I've heard that.
yeah, yeah, which is a shame because I wanted to use some Leonard Cohen lyrics in one of the romantic comedies. And I did ask for permission, but they never came back to me. So I thought, well, I
Yeah.
better not use it. We did have a slight issue. I don't think I've got it here. Oh yes, I have. Which I thought was kind of fun, which was 50 Shades of Roxy Brown, which was like a spoof on 50 Shades, basically. Um, so you can see even the cover is, her hands up, handcuffed kind of thing. Um, and then we got told by a solicitor that the author of 50 Shades E.L. James can be a bit on the aggressive side, because she had apparently painted the words 50 Shades. And I didn't know that, because I thought it was just a general phrase, 50 Shades, but apparently
Yeah.
she had, I don't know, patent or whatever the word is. And if anybody else used it, she could actually take them to court and all sorts of things. So we went into a massive panic, obviously. And they said, as long as your book keeps under the radar and she doesn't spot it, you'll be okay. And then someone who lives not far away in Reading opened up a sex shop or something and called it 50 Shades of something. Anyway, she went after her very aggressively, and that all got a bit nasty. And then I really panicked. So then we had a new title called 50 Days of Roxy Brown. Should we have to quickly change it? And I was praying. I mean, you don't normally pray for your book not to do well. And I'm actually praying it wouldn't do well. And it actually just went up the charts. And I'm saying,
Oh
no, please,
no.
please come down. But it went fairly high, and we never heard a thing. So obviously she either thought she's not worth bothering with, which is most likely the case, or it didn't bother her. I don't know. But anyway, we got away with it, which was
Yeah.
so that was
Wow.
yeah, that was a bit of a yeah. I never realised that she'd actually patented those words. I didn't
No, I
know.
just
So no, so
wow. No,
you can't use them.
you
Don't
learn
try and
something
write a
new.
book.
No, not my. I've read them all, but it's not my thing that I'd write. So
No, I
it's
only
quite
read
safe.
one.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
read the
I
first
must
one.
admit, I quite enjoyed them. Not for, everyone says there's terrible writing. I'm thinking, well, people are reading them for the style of writing, aren't they? The quality of writing. So
Oh no,
one of
all
one
credit
of
to her. I mean, she did really well with it. So yeah, we'd all like to do that as well as her, and you know, knocking the writing. I don't see the point in that. I mean, she did well. I just think good for her.
yeah,
She got
yeah,
films out of it, and I think a lot of that is just a little bit of jealousy. You know,
yeah,
it's not my cup of tea, but I wouldn't knock her. No,
yeah.
no,
That's it.
there isn't. I think the whole idea really should be you support each other. That's, I think for me, that's important, that you just support each other, because, it's a big enough market out there for everyone. You don't have to try and drag another author's book down by doing all kinds of weird stuff, which I know a lot of writers are doing or have done. And I don't see the point in that. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to go to bed with your conscience, haven't you? And I just couldn't,
Exactly. Yeah,
I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do that. I'm just happy for anyone who does well, because it's kind of a good thing, because it gives me hope. Well, okay, maybe one day, maybe my book will do that well. So, it gives you hope rather than anything else. There's no knocking them is pointless. I don't,
yeah. No, I don't. But then I find that the crime fiction community isn't really like that anyway. Of
yeah,
all the communities, I think the crime fiction is the most supportive.
yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, support each other and promote each other. I don't see anything wrong with that. And be
No.
friends with each other. I think that's really nice, because that way you get a nice kind of supportive thing going on, which I like. I really like that. So I wouldn't, no, I don't, this jealousy thing and copying people's books and that kind of stuff. I don't really. If you can't write the story yourself, then just don't do
Just
it
don't.
then.
Yeah.
Don't copy someone else's work that they've probably spent hours and hours putting, lots of work
Yeah.
into that. That's just not fair. No, I
Yeah.
don't like that. Good,
If
we
you
agree
make,
on that.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I've, I know a lot of people, and I've heard all sorts of different things from different people. So yeah, I really feel for them, and they're completely powerless, especially when
yeah.
their books are copied. They're
I
utterly powerless,
know, I
and I didn't
know.
know. I can't believe that in this day and age, they can't do anything.
No, I was surprised about that when someone copied a whole book of someone's and they couldn't do anything about it. And I thought, well, why talk about plagiarism if nothing can be done? I mean, surely if you've copied a whole book, but it seems you can't. Nothing you
No,
can do.
yeah, shocking. Absolutely
I
shocking.
know, it doesn't make any sense. And the ones that have the free, well, they give your book away for free.
Yeah, they're a
Times,
nightmare, aren't they?
I know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Whack-a-mole, isn't it?
yeah, well, yes. Spend a lot of time. I think a lot of us spend a lot of time contacting our publishers saying it's on this site now or on that site now, and then you start wondering, is it worth even bothering? I mean, people do it. Do people even know about these sites? You know, I wonder if they even do. So anyway,
Yeah.
what can you do? There's always people like
Yeah.
that out there. But not
I
all
know.
nice.
No. Sadly, I know. That's just,
No, I know.
it does make me wonder why everyone is to write a book. I knew all this before I went into it. I must be mental.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I sometimes wonder why I do it. Yeah, especially when I think some people just get my books for nothing. And the people that always keep on saying, are there any books out for free? And I think some of them are 99p. Come on, it's not like it's a fortune. It's not even a,
I know. Yeah, I know.
it's like, what do they think? How do they think we make money on the books if we're just going to give them away all the time? It's such a weird attitude, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know money's tight and stuff, but even when money's tight, you can afford 99p.
yeah,
Like, I don't have much money and I'll still buy books for 99p or 1.99, maybe 2.99, not much more than that because I can't afford it. But I can't
yeah,
afford it, so I won't get it. That's fine. I'm not bothered. If I can't get it for what I can afford, I won't get it. That's fine.
yeah, yeah.
Not
Or
going and
there's
search somewhere for free.
no,
Yeah.
exactly. Or there's the library, and then at
Yeah.
least the authors make some money on the books when they're borrowed from the library. So, why not just order the book from the library? They'll always get you any book that you want. So I don't know why they don't do that. It's just like they just all want them free, and I just think, yeah, yeah, that's why I spend 6 hours a day writing a book just to give it away. It's just mad, absolutely
Yeah.
mad. It's like expecting a sweet shop to be open all day just to give away sweets.
I know. I know.
It's
Yeah,
just,
it baffles me. It really does. But there we are. It's the
yeah,
way, isn't it? It really is.
us people, none so
Yeah.
strange as folk.
Indeed. Yes. Quite. Have you made lots of author friends since you started writing?
Oh
Mm.
gosh, yes, I have, especially comedy writers, Sue Watson, Debbie Vigiano. Oh God, there's loads. Jocelyn Dexter, in particular, with Bloodhound Books. Um, a couple of others with Bloodhound Books. Names are escaping me for the moment, but I can't. Oh, there's so many that I make. Oh, there's not Lorna, but there's somebody else with Bloodhound Books. Um, yeah, I mean, constant contact. What's her name? Who wrote the something pajamas? Ah, Chris, but she doesn't go under Chris. Is it pajamas? Anyway, she did really well with it, exceptionally well. I can't think of her author name now, but you have contact with her. She's lovely. Um, yeah, there's loads, absolutely loads actually. I just can't think of their names, but absolutely loads. And it's really nice because you can ask about things as well, like if there's something happening, like a books thing or whatever. If I've never been before, I can say you're going, and then I won't feel so nervous going on my own, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's really quite nice. I think that you can. Madeline Morgan also. Um, oh, there's just yeah, so many. Yeah, I mean, I make a point of just being friendly with everyone really, because
Of
why
course.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they support you back, and that's great. John Rance, Slows Vinny. It's good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And have you done any in-person author events or any festivals?
No, I haven't been to
Mm.
any actually. I did some signing events, which I don't really like. I'm one of these people that just wants to sit and write the books, but I don't really want to actually go out there. I'm not an out there person. But I would like to go to some of the crime festivals. No, she doesn't want you on the computer because then you'll cut her off. Don't bite. No. You're such an awkward cat. You would not believe. Can you just sit here? Life is not all about you. I know you think it is. Right. I'm getting dirty looks, which is not a good sign. This is what I got. The other. Can you see that bruise?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I got for playing with him and not letting him bite my jumper. And of course, when he got the jumper, he thought he had the jumper, and he actually had me. So you can imagine, poor teeth in there, poor teeth marks. No, I'm taking it away. Well, she has to have an unfortunate close up now. Thanks to you. Sorry, what were we talking about before he
Festivals, crime
Yeah,
festivals.
I really want to go, actually. I really want to go to some of them. Yeah,
You
I really
should.
do.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I've heard they are, and I really would like to be part of them. Yeah, so that's something I want to do. I really
I
must
went to
make a
one and
point.
then I was hooked, and then I
Yeah,
go to them all, all of them.
yeah.
I booked them.
What's the one in Brighton?
On the dark side, the one that I do.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah, I've postponed it in a minute. But hopefully I'll either do it in October or next March.
oh, okay. Yeah, because Brighton's not. It's quite easy for me to get to. So I
Yeah,
could
I don't
probably.
live in Brighton either. Everyone assumes I do. I'm like, no, I don't live in Brighton. I live 100 miles away.
Oh right, okay. So you'd have to travel as well. So yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
obviously that makes sense. I live in Bedfordshire, so not
Ah,
that far
okay.
from Oxfordshire. Yeah.
No, no, it's not that far.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I live well, I live in a small town called Dunstable, and the nearest big town to me is Luton. And when I put Luton as an option, no one chose it, which I'm not surprised because it's a hole.
right.
And I don't want to go to Luton, even though that's where I work. So
Yeah,
I'm not surprised that other people didn't want to come to Luton. And then the next most popular was Bristol, but there's already a big festival in Bristol called Crime Fest. So then the third most popular was Brighton. So that's where I started holding it there.
yeah,
Yeah, so there
yeah.
was logic. But
It's a bit
yeah,
like it's. I go to
in
yarn
London.
fairs
Okay.
because oh, he's gone again. Good. Because I'm a big crocheter. So yeah, I go to lots of yarn fairs and things like that. So I suppose they're very similar. It made me bleed again. Animals. Should have got a dog.
Yeah, my dog's out in the kitchen. I've got my laptop on a cushion, and if my dog knows that I've got my laptop on a cushion, she's got like the sense, and then she usually comes and looks at me. I move the laptop, and she can sit on the cushion. Like, well, was actually trying to do something, but never mind.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I know. They really think they run the whole roost, don't they? He
Yeah,
certainly thinks he does. Anyway.
yeah. We had cats for years, and yeah, they are the boss generally.
Yeah, they are. Listen.
When you edit your own books, what words do you tend to overuse? Or what do you get told off by your editor for?
Well, the last one, not much at all. So maybe I don't overuse. Maybe I overuse. I think I underuse actually, and I think maybe because when I'm writing, Grammarly keeps coming up with but I like to write my books in a way that I think people will actually speak, and you know, um, and so they wouldn't actually say it that way, but they keep wanting to put it in, and I don't. So maybe I underuse, and I don't think I overuse too many words. Actually, I think I'm fairly good at that. Yeah, I think I'm fairly good at that. But I can see
Usually it's
how it could just, yeah. Oh my God, you really are being naughty. Can I keep my legs? Thank you. Would you like to interview a cat? Because he seems very keen. What are you going to talk about? Exactly, nothing.
What's been your most fun character to write so far, and what's been the hardest character or the character that gave you the most trouble?
Oh, my favorite character in all my books is Ewan Galbraith in, right, hang on. That's what I do. In Watching You. And I absolutely love him. I really love him. Even though he's a baddie, yeah, I can't give any more of that away. But yeah, Ewan Galbraith was one of my favorite characters to write, and I've never forgotten him either. I do forget a lot of my characters, I must be honest. Um, and the most difficult one to write was most probably, let me think. I think it might be the main character, Blanche, in The Lies She Told, because there was a lot of research needed for her character. So, and I wanted to get it all, I wanted to get that right. Or was it Blanche's mother that was more difficult? May. I think probably both of them, actually. May and Blanche were quite hard characters. I had to really do a lot of research for those two. But I think it worked. So I was, happy with it. But yeah, they were difficult characters.
And what's been the most fun or interesting facts you found out when doing research?
Oh, I found out a lot of interesting things about Munchausen's by proxy, which is featured in The Lies She Told. So that was quite interesting to learn about that. And I've learned quite a lot about police procedure and things like that for the last one I wrote, which is coming out in August, and I can't say what it's called. And what else have I learned? That's the thing, you've learned so much. The thing is, when you're researching, it leads you from one thing to another, and you end up with, looking at something that has nothing to do with your book whatsoever. And then you learn something completely new, and it's quite amazing. And then you think, oh, that'll make a good book, So that's what I like about research. It kind of leads you all over the place. Um, so no, I
Talking
don't.
about Munchausen's, did you see the story? Is it of Gypsy Rose or whatever? I didn't know anything about it, and then I kept
Yeah,
seeing it because obviously she's just been released, hasn't she? So
yeah. Well, The Lies
shocking.
She Told is very much based upon her story. It's uh my character Blanche goes through a similar thing, but there's a whole lot more in that story than there is in just it's just not about her. There's a whole lot more. But yeah, that was what actually that's what set the idea in my head, was
Uh,
watching that. That was what actually did it. And yeah, I thought that was just awful, absolutely
yeah,
awful.
I mean, I
And
know there's a lot of criticism. It's like she still killed or she got someone to kill her mum and stuff,
yeah, yeah.
but her mum abused her for so
Oh,
many years in the most horrific
it
ways.
was
So
terrible. There was
yeah,
nothing wrong with her. There was
no,
absolutely nothing wrong with her. And by the time the mother had finished, I mean, she was just a wreck.
yeah,
She
but
was
she had no
absolutely,
teeth, did she? And then she thinks
no,
she removed her tear ducts and stuff or
yeah,
something, and it
yeah.
just
Oh, she had
yeah,
loads of things removed, and then she was in a wheelchair till she couldn't walk, and it was just, oh, how can you do
yeah,
that to your own daughter?
yeah,
Just for
yeah, crazy.
attention. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, no, I watched the original documentary of that, and then I think there was a film made of it, wasn't there? A
yeah,
dramatization. Yeah, yeah. So I haven't seen the drama, but I watched the original documentary, which was really quite horrific because you see her reaction afterwards, and she's totally shocked that that her mother's dead. Because it's awful, because in a sense that was all she had was
yeah,
you
I know
know?
she stuck up for her, didn't she? Because she's like,
Yeah,
that's she's my friend. She's all I've got. She's my mum, and yeah,
it's
it was
awful.
awful. Yeah, in every way. No one would have won out of that situation. So
No,
yeah,
yeah. And there's another one at the moment that I'm just currently reading, which is called um, I'm Glad My Mum Is Dead. That's another interesting one about an actress that was pushed and pushed into acting until just because her mother wanted it. Um, and how it destroyed her, how she got anorexia and bulimia, just all kinds of things out from the stress of all of that, it's just terrible. So yeah, I learned a lot about that, and that was very useful for the book, The Lies She Told. Oh, which I can of course show you. It's gotta be here. This one's quite a thick one actually. So yeah, that's The Lies She Told. And that introduces Detective Sergeant Beth Harper, who also comes in to the one that's out in August. So that sort of continues with the same village, the same detectives, but with a new character comes into that. I'm not giving too much away.
so the other one's a standalone then. So then you sort
Yeah,
of
you can read them as separate. Yeah, you don't have to read them as you know, a two series thingy. No. Everything's a thingy when I can't think what it's called these days.
yeah, that's fine. Thingy works for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Just as
have
well.
lots of thingies as well. Yeah, it's
Oh
fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My husband just doesn't know what thingy I'm talking about. That's the trouble. But we get around it somehow.
Do you have lots of ideas tucked away that you still want to write?
Yeah, the one I'm writing now, which I'm really enjoying, and probably at some point the Aidan Mead one, which is not a thriller, it's completely different altogether. I've got no other thrillers in my head at the moment, but I'm sure something will crop up as it just suddenly does out of the blue, doesn't it? Well, I've got a comedy on the go, three quarters through, which I'd like to finish. I also have one of those gritty gangster things, but I don't really think they're my kind of thing. But I've got a fair way through and thought, don't think this is for me. So anyway, they're sort of outstanding, so I might go back and sort of have a look at them at some point. But there's always something on the go. So I'm never short of a novel to sort of go back and work on if I wanted to. So yeah, there's always something there, which is good, really. But I do worry about running out of ideas. But I think every author does, and then all of a sudden an idea comes, and you think, "Why did I worry?" It
Yeah,
it
I
always
think you
comes.
have a different brain when you're an author, and
Yeah,
the most innocuous things suddenly become a story.
yeah,
That
exactly.
even I've noticed since I started writing, like I look at something, I'm like, "Ooh, just tuck that away for later," because yeah, it's strange, isn't it? You do look at things,
Yeah,
the famous "oh, you could put a dead body here" that a lot of people say, but
yeah.
it's true. You can't help it.
No, no, no. And there's always
Mm.
an idea in your head. So, even if it's just a small little idea, you know that there's something there that you can work on. So, just keep making notes. That's what I do. And then go back and look at them and then think, oh, yeah, I forgot about that idea. You know, so yeah, it's quite fun writing actually. I mean, I've done it most of my life, so I don't think I could ever not write. You get to that point where it's just part of your life, you know, and you can't imagine a day when you wouldn't be writing, unless, of course, you completely lose your mind, which is
Yeah.
which is possible in my case, as my mum had dementia. So I often think about, oh, better get the next one written just in case. I don't think about it too much. There's no point.
No, exactly. Yeah, you never know what tomorrow brings. So,
Oh, exactly. No,
uh,
no, no.
and what's been your career highlight so far, or your pinch me moment that you never expected?
I think the headhunting by Bloodhound actually, because I was just about to stop writing and I started studying. Um, and I'd wanted to study again for some time, and I started and I just finished one course. I'd done the exams, I'd passed, and then I had all the stuff for the second one. And then I had uh, an email from one of their I can't remember what you call them, commissioning editors, saying we'd like to look at some of your work. And I thought, oh, I better just check this out. You know, you get so much spam, don't you? So I sort of looked her up, checked her out. I thought, oh, yeah, she's for real. So I said, okay, which one do you want? And she said, all four, and gave me four titles. So I thought, okay, so sent the four titles. Then we went off to France to holiday with Carol Drinkwater. She's got a olive farm, as you probably know, in France, and she's got a little cottage on the farm. So we stayed there. Came back from that and totally forgotten about this thing that I sent these books. And then as soon as I came back, I got a message from them saying they wanted to sign me. And I was like, oh, I was just about to start studying it. And I had all the stuff just came through the post, you know, this whole load of stuff. And I thought, oh dear, maybe I can do both. But that didn't work. You know, there's only so many hours in a day. And I'm just getting older now and my brain just couldn't do it. So anyway, I extended the studies, but they got to the point where the extension just kept going on, and I eventually told them at Oxford I can't do it. So let me have to wait till another day if it happens. I mean, it's not, you know, it was just something I liked to do. Didn't need to do or anything. I just wanted to do it. So yeah, it's just funny timing, you know, it's very strange.
Yeah.
Those things never happen when you expect them, do they?
No, they really don't, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I think that was probably a highlight. And then when Remember Me did really well, second time around, it completely blew my mind actually, because I think it went to something like number 70 in overall Amazon chart, and it'd already done exceptionally well first time. And I was just totally shocked because I thought, my God, you know, I wouldn't have thought it would have done so well as a reissue, you know, even better than the first time round. So that really gave me confidence to think, oh, well, actually, maybe thriller writing is, you know, where I should be. So that's why I kind of stuck with the thrillers because, you know, I enjoy them, and I think they're more challenging too, which I like. You know, I like to have the challenge. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was probably the highlight of last year. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Because Remember Me has been out a year now, and it's still doing quite well.